abortion in the earth, which is the killing of children. They put them in incinerators. Okay, they put kids, they pull them out piece by piece, part by part, because people want to have an idol of pleasure. You see what happens? That's what an idol is. If people take pleasure where human sacrifice becomes secondary or not the issue compared to what they're revering. They're revering the ability to just, have sex without restriction. Okay, that's what that's about. Let's move on. Greed. Let's look at greed. Y'all getting somewhere today with this? We got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to move through this pretty fast. Now look at greed. Greed itself, and this is nothing pushing to be your father, okay, is an intense or selfish desire for something, particularly wealth, power, or food. You see what I'm saying? Another synonymous word with greed, which is really impacting just to hear it, is called rapacity. Where the word rape comes from?
Man.
That's a root word for greed.
Wow.
That sounds heavy.
Yes.
And what it is, it's called aggressive greed. Aggressive greed. So what happens is you see there's entities and movements and agendas out there that are aggressive in nature to take you without permission. That's rapacity. That's an act of rape.
Wow.
It's not just a physical, which is traumatic, but it's also taking of the mind and the soul. What happens is a father figure is one who actually has power over your soul. A father has control over the mind of their children. When I say control, that means they have, that's the worldview that the child understands. So the things that father says, it impacts that individual where they obey. Because with fatherhood brings obedience. So what happens is in the world today, we have a father pushing in the earth, a spirit of a father pushing in the earth to have greed, to take you aggressively, for you to obey it.
Yes, mammon.
You see what happens here? Y'all follow this? So this is, this not your typical father take mess, but I wanted to share a couple points with you. All right, so when something is out there to aggressively take your identity, your way of life, which is standard of God's life, understand that is a false father. Okay? This next one here, I'm just getting started here. This might be a series. All right? The fight for fatherhood is what we're talking about. We got gangs, and we know about gangs. We know, think about it. Okay, just give you a little nutshell. The Americans, a lot of the police forces and the fire forces in America were literally gangs. Gangs and gangs that came over Irish, the Greeks, they came over and they were fighting factions, so they said, we're going to organize ourselves.
The Italians.
And the Italians and stuff like that, so they were literally gang members, mafia members, who made themselves badges to police the town so they could have territorial control over an area. That's where gangs start, that's where it originates from. Okay, not just someone on the street corner with a bandana on.
Tell the truth.
That's That's little. Okay, so when you see, God bless the men who protect and serve with honor, but the origination of a lot of this evil in the earth is through gangs, and they infiltrated they made up organizations of government so that they can have territorial control. Which means that you gotta be their child. If you're not, we're gonna wipe you out. Whether it's economically or physically or whatsoever, okay? But look at this here, a gang. What is a gang? Let me give you a definition. Y'all understand what I'm saying today? Okay, what God's heart is? Gangs.
I sure do.
A group? Yes.
I sure do, because I'm affiliated.
Oh, okay, praise God. We're gonna talk some more, praise God. A gang is a group of recurrently associating individual. They constantly meet It can be close friends and or family, okay? And they have identifiable leadership, and an internal organization, which means they have positions that people hold to hold the power structure together. Okay? They identify with claiming control over territory in a community. Okay? And what they do is they engage in either individually or collectively in violent or illegal behavior. Now look at this here. All illegal behavior is not violent. So we look at gangs as far as the ones who are shooting up stuff and doing these things. You know, we look at them, but the real gang is structures and organizations that are doing things illegal in the earth. And God told me something, which I'll share with you later on. He said, look, Jesus. God said one of the biggest gangs, organizations in the world is the Pharisaic gang.
Man.
Yeah.
The Pharisees.
Yeah.
It's the religious order of individuals. Like I said, they have order. They have an identifiable leader. They have an organizational structure. They identify with claiming control of a territory, Vatican, a city-state.
Shabbat.
Yeah.
With a wall.
Listen.
And guards.
Over territory community, and they engage in illegal behavior. Now, God sets order in the earth, okay? And the one who doesn't set order, there's someone who sets confusion, and that is Satan.
That's right.
He wants confusion. He wants to confuse. Now, we say confusion, and we think chaos. Chaos is not necessarily confusion. Confusion literally is when you're confused with what God said.
Yes.
So what the devil does, he brings confusion so people can't figure out, that's not God, this is God. God can't be like sending people to hell. I'm confused. God's not going to do it. There's no hell. So now what we have preachers, which I heard just recently, who don't believe in hell. And that is illegal. So there's men and women operating in the earth who are breeding illegalities in the face of God in the earth. That is a gang. And they're using religious orders because if we put an entity of reverence to it, then it has to be of God. And God said, that is what I'm coming after today. Y'all follow this today? So don't just yell at the boy on the street trying to get some money to live a life and have no way to get a life because they won't get a job. They can't get a job and nobody will hire them, and they go to violence to try to get money to feed that movie, John Q. Remember the movie John Q? Remember that movie John Q with Denzel Washington? He went AWOL because his son, they couldn't get the insurance right for some reason, and he wanted his son to get taken care of for medical care, so he went rogue because the system wouldn't let him in. You see what I'm saying? We're not talking about that. That's a whole other thing we could minister about. We're talking about that defiant illegal order against God. You see, that is trying to be your daddy. We have so many agendas and forces in the earth today that operating with a mindset of gang to take with violent force your livelihood. Bow or die. Bow or be starved. Bow or we're not going to let you buy or sell anything.
Look at Venezuela.
Exactly. Look at Venezuela. They had corrupt government leaders who operated under a international gang mentality. It's a whole long story to talk about that, but not right now, okay? Look at this. Let's go to the next one. Government is trying to be your daddy. It's fighting to be your daddy.
Now that's the truth.
Okay? And government is very similar to gang. A government is a system by which a state or community is controlled. Gangs control, government controls. So what's smart? Let's gangs be government.
Right.
So why do you think political forces that are totally against God get elected? Why do you think there are generation after generation of corrupt people in political office? Because they're controlling a territory. And they work in internal organizations to make sure that they get someone to represent their turf in a governmental system. Now look at the big picture. We're not here to give you chump change. We give you some real deal. Now, the Commonwealth of Nations has a statement like this. It says, the government is used to refer to the collective group of people that exercises authority in a nation or a state. So they exercise their authority. It's like, unless you deal with them, you cannot exist in this place. Many churches walk like that. If you don't bow and kiss a ring, or if you don't sit there and go on the couch with them in private, you cannot be a part of this organization. You see, that's control. That is illegal control. God says the biggest gang is the carnal church. They sit there doing all kind of stuff to make sure that you submit to them and not to God. And that is fighting to be your father. I mean, oh, we're going to talk about this. Let me just go my last step, the last G. This is the fourth G. Gays. Gays. Gays, look at that. Look at this. The original term for gay was meant to be merry, lively, or bright.
Right. Yeah.
That is the original definition of gay. It had nothing to do with sexuality. It had to do with being joyful and exuberant and happy. Like the church, like God's people should be.
Amen.
Okay? Now, it's turned into a sexual behavior because the 17th century, when the height of sexual conduct going forth, gay was considered many different things. A gay was considered a prostitute. A gay was considered a womanizer. In the 17th century, if you like to poke everything that was female, you will be considered gay.
Or if you were a woman, you were called a married widow.
Yeah. So what happened was a gay house was considered a brothel. You know what a brothel is? That's a whore's house.
Oh, yeah.
Where the politicians hang out. Where the gangs hang out. Okay? So what happens is, I'm being honest with y'all. The guys give me raw. Y'all can't take raw. Just go on. You see what I'm saying?
Pastor shooting and not listening.
But what I'm saying is that gay, what happens is we know the Antichrist and anti-God mentality is to do things against God's will, do things illegal. So the number one thing illegal, the biggest form of illegality is to come against the procreative measures of God.
Absolutely.
Humanity comes from male, female, baby. So what happens is, let's go ahead and be illegal to this natural function of humanity and go male with male. Or female with female. I don't know what demon get in people's mind to think that putting your male reproductive system into a part where fecal matter comes out is of something of enjoyment.